Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on what's new in Tosca 11.0. I'm Sanal Nair, Global Partner Marketing Manager at Tricentis, and I'll be hosting today's webinar. Our webinars give us the opportunity to share what's important to us, software test automation, risk reduction, and how Tricentis can help your organization accelerate business innovation. Today's webinar is on the topic of what's new in Tosca 11.0. We are pleased to have Sagar Dubal, Tricentis pre-sales consultant, who is part of the global sales support team, here with us to talk about how to configure and use test planning, access device tabs of mobile labs, source labs, and test object, restrict the recording and create an issue proposal in exploratory session, configure and set up BI component folder, and more. Some of you who join our MOOCs on a regular basis will have heard of all these many times, but since there are some people joining us for the first time, please allow me to talk about the housekeeping rules. All participants will be muted during the session. As there are hundreds of you currently attending, obviously everyone talking would be confusing and hard to follow. There is a control panel at the bottom of your screen with apps you can toggle on or off. Key ones being Q&A, Twitter, Share, and the media player. Please note, if you pause the media player, we will disappear, so don't do that. Even though you are muted, we do encourage you to ask questions during the session. Please use the before mentioned Q&A box. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the MOOC session. Therefore, we will hold the most interesting questions for the Q&A so that every one of you can profit from the answers. We will, however, answer as many questions as possible during the session. But please be aware that only questions which relates to the current topics will be covered. Please keep in mind that given the number of attendees, we might not be able to answer all of your questions during the session. Lastly, let me state that this session will be recorded and will be shared on our website later this week. Without any further delay, let me pass it over to Sagar. Welcome, Sagar.
Hello everyone. During the session, we will see how to use the new features which are released in Tricentis Tosca 11.0 version. You may have seen the What's New 11.0 webinar to know which new features were released. If you have not seen yet, the recording is also available on Tricentis website under Resources. We will quickly see the list of features which were released in Tosca 11.0 version. In Tosca 11.0 version, a new section, Test Planning section, is introduced. The Tricentis Tosca users now can also access the device labs, example mobile labs, source labs, test object to execute mobile test cases. Now the exploratory testing is also available for mobile applications. During exploratory testing, now a user can create issue proposals and can restrict the recording to specific apps. These are the new features which are added for exploratory testing. For BI and OSV, now we have a redesigned UI. Apart from redesigning of UI and BI, now there is also an optimization of performance of end-to-end BI test case. In case of OSV, now OSV also have the same business view as similar to API. Now Tosca also supports for Selenium WebDriver protocol. This will extend the cross-browser test to Safari on Mac OS device and also help in connecting to cloud service like Browser Stack. There are a couple of new features enhancements in Tosca Analytics. Now a user can exclude certain data from snapshots and share or bookmark activity page. There are a couple of announcements in DEX distributed execution and DB Engine 3.0 as well. During today's session, we will see how to configure and use the test planning section, how to access device labs. We will set up configuration to execute a test case on test object. How to restrict the recording in case of exploratory session during an exploratory session, and how to create an issue proposal, basically creating an issue during an exploratory session. We will also configure and set up BI component folder. As from Tosca 11.0 version, now BI has a separate component folder. If time permits, we will see a couple of new additional features. Let's first start with the test planning section. As we know, continuous testing is a process that involves more than just creating and executing test cases. The new test planning capability gives testers constant visibility into what testing activities are needed and in delivering real-time insight into test activity progress. This will make it easy to stay on track and optimize the limited time available to test in today's complex development process. To explore more on the test planning section, let us consider an case. So we will just consider an use case, and then parallelly we will explore more on the test planning section. Assume that there is a requirement and a new fuel type is added for as a hybrid under this. Now we will use the new test planning section to create various tasks for users to fulfill this requirement. This test planning section will help in creating the new task and will give a real-time insight into the test activity progress. Let us first consider what are the different tasks which are required to fulfill this requirement. First could be like update the requirement section, add a requirement, that is add a requirement or add a weightage. Then maybe perform an early API test so that just to ensure that the changes are it's early testing, it's basically shift left. Then update the TCD sheet, the test case design sheet, uh, update test cases, create a regression suite, create and update the execution list section. So these are like, if you see for a small requirement, we'll see like these are the different tasks which are required to complete. And as a lead or a manager will also need to keep a track on this activity. We will create all these tasks in test planning section. So now I will go to Tosca. So this is Tosca, and now we have a new test planning section. If this option is not available, just right click at the project level, go to the project level, right click, and there should be an option to select the BI component folder. Once clicked, this section will be available over here. Again, this will be a one-time activity. We have already, so as this is a change in the existing requirement, we have already done the initial setup, like the requirements are already added for the are already added, and we are particularly working on this user story 01. Similar to requirement, the test cases are also available, and the test case design sheet is also available. So we will create a couple of tasks in test planning section to update these to incorporate the new changes. Now we have configured the test planning folder. So we have added this component folder at the project level. Now we will able to see this project every time we'll log in. So configuring the test planning folder is an one-time activity. Now the next steps are creating a session. So session is nothing but like what are our specific requirements or tasks we want to carry out in this session. So once session is created, we need to add the respective users, and we need to define the respective tasks to the uh, to those for those users. So first we will start with creating a session. So I will just check out this folder. So for creating a session, we just need to click on this create session button. So I will just click this. So it will create an session for me. So over here, we can add the screen description. We can add the session attachments. We can even browse for certain files, or we can directly drag the Tosca artifacts such as like execution list, requirement set directly over here. We can also define the session start, session end, the total duration for this session, and what is the status for this. So let's first start with the session description. So we will just give a basic description. So for this demo purpose, I will just give an one line description. So we need to due to the limited time available, but like when we are working on a project, we can mention all the basic details over here, reference to any Jira ID or any ALM ID over here. We can also do the basic formatting such as different font, the font color, bold, these basic things are available for formatting. So I will just add a basic requirement, basic session description requirement to add a new fuel type hybrid for vehicle type automobile. So I will just bold this one, and we can give say reference GR ID say 840. I'm just giving the GR ID number. So if we have some requirement document, we can directly attach the requirement document over here. Now the next thing is to create task. So we have create a session. Now we will create task for the respect users. So suppose admin is a lead for this project. Now our first task was to create update the requirement. So in this case we will have uh, we will assign this task to the lead. So I will just select the user, and from here I can just right click and create a test planning task. Or the other option is if I just select this, go to the test planning section and just click on create object. Now this is the task for this specific user. So in this case we will just give update requirement, and we will just add the basic description. I will just add the basic description over here. Now, update user story 01 to add a new fuel type hybrid. We can define the task duration as well, and in task attachment we can directly attach a specific requirement. So will be more specific. So I will just add this user story 01. So I will just drag it and drop it under this. So this is as an attachment for this user. Now let's move. So the next step is, now like we have done with the lead task, now we want our QA team to perform the next task. So we will add the users. So for adding a user, we can either click over here, or again the same, right click and on create test planning user. So suppose we have already defined a set of users, and say in this case my user's name start with Y. So if I just put Y, I will see all the users starting with Y. So I will select this user, and I will I will add task for this user. So I will just select it and create object. I will need to define the task description. So my task is to perform API test case to verify new fuel type is coming in response. And maybe I can just give two tasks, say update API test cases. Okay. Now I will go to the task attachment. So in this case, there is no specific attachment. So I will just go over here and I will create the next task. And next task is to update TCD test case design sheet. So again, I will just give the basic description. Update the TCD sheet to add a instance for new fuel type hybrid. So this task is assigned to my QA, and over here we can add the attachment. So I will just drag this and drop this. Now I will move to the next task. So again I will create object. So similarly we can define all the given tasks. So I will not go into all, I will not create all the different tasks. So update test cases, and we can define here update test cases to for user story 01 to add, or maybe add a test case for user story 01 to add a new fuel type. Okay, and from here we can just add the attachment. So in this case, so this is my folder in which for this user story I need to update the test cases. So I will just go and drag the test case folder over here. So similarly we can create the remaining task for creating a regression suite, executing the test cases. Okay, so now till now what we have done is we have created a test planning, uh, s- uh, we have configured the test planning folder, then we have created a new session. Under that under that we have defined the task for the respective users. Like in this case of admin, we have defined one task. For other users, we have, for the Yogesh, we have defined three new tasks. We can also add the task duration if you want. So like in this case, if you feel that performing API test case might take an hour, so we can add an hour. You can say we can add this. So once this basic thing is done, so maybe we will need to check in the changes. So before doing check in, like I'm just login with admin, so I will just go to the requirement section and I will perform the task which is assigned to me. So for that I can, so like this is the task which I have given, so I can directly go to the attachment, and if I double click over here, I'm directly going into that specific requirement. So I will just check out this folder, check out this requirement, and over here I can create a new test case link. So basically for this requirement we feel that there should be one new test case will be added, so we have added one test case link. Other than that, since there is no specific change in this for this requirement, so for me the task is done. So I can just go to there, I can update the comments, added test case link under the requirement for user story 01. So basically what this means is like for this change we are expecting a new test cases to be added, and I can from here I can just mark my activity as completed, and I can check in all changes. So I will just do the check-in. So I can add the comment created test planning session and updated the requirement user story 01. I will check in the changes. Now let's see. So for this, until now we were working with single users, so we were not able to track like what other users are doing. So I have another session of Tosca open with me. So I will just focus on now on the test planning section, and once we updated the thing, now we can see like my progress is 25%, and if I go into the detail, the task which was assigned to admin is in completed status. So from here we can track the progress of our activity. And now I will just go to the different session. So this is the second user. So if you can see the user over here, I'm logged in with the second user, and now over here I will go to the test planning section and I will just do an update all. So after update all, I should able to see all the changes which are done. So now we are in test planning section, and these are the tasks which are assigned to me. So as a user, now I am logged in. Okay, I can see now I have 3 tasks assigned to me, and I can see the details over here. Like I need to perform an API test case, uh, then I need to update API test cases. I need to update TCD sheet. I need to update the test cases. So these are the 3 tasks which are assigned to me. So now I will work on this task. So first I will do what I will do. I will just check out the changes. Okay, for this task I will mark this as in progress. Okay, and now I will go to, since first task is to perform an API test case, I will go to the component folder level. I go to the API testing, click on API scan, and I will start my web service. So basically all these details we can mention, like the web service, which service needs to be changes, and other basic details we can mention over there. So my web service is started, so I just need to focus on the car service, and we need to ensure that the new fuel type is added. So till this time, assume that the UI is not yet ready, and before the UI is ready the services are available, and we will start doing the API testing earlier, so that just to ensure, just to start our testing earlier. So let me hit the service. You can add the make, say BMW, and I will send, and from here I can see the new services added. So I can just copy this, and for my task API test case, I can update the comment performed API testing. We can even add an attachment of that screenshot. That's also possible. API testing, refer the response. From here, I can just highlight it so that, and now I have highlighted it, and now so my basic testing is done. So update API test cases. So we also have an API test cases. So let me now start with the second task. So these are my API test cases. Okay. So what I need to do is like I need to update these test cases to cater the requirement. So I will just quickly go to the TCD sheet. Okay. Uh, I need to add a new fuel type. So we do already have classes created. So we'll just add new instance under this. So first let me just check out this. Okay, I will quickly add new instance, name it as hybrid. I will add this fuel type. Okay, now since this fuel type is added for all the types, so I will just quickly do the basic changes. Toggle, since this is a verification, come over here. I will fill the specific value. Okay, this is done. So my test case design sheet is updated. I will quickly go to the test cases. So for API, this is my template. So let me try reinstantiating this. Okay, I will need to do a checkout. Reinstantiate it. Hopefully the new fuel type is added. Let me go to template and I will instantiate. So okay, no. So what we need to do is like I need to add a new fuel type over here. So I will just quickly add this type, give the reference as 4. So this is my fourth, and from here I will do an instantiate. Okay. Okay, let me check the value. I believe I gave the wrong value. Yeah, so it's fuel type. So let me just make the changes. Excel fuel type. Again, okay. Hopefully now the error should get resolved. So let me try reinstantiating it again. Okay, it's reinstantiated, and let's see if you have all the different fuel types. Yes, the hybrid is added, and we can even execute the test cases just to verify it in Scratchbook. Okay, the execution is complete. It's successful. We can quickly check the result. Yeah, I will just check. Different fuel types are added. So this way we have performed the API test case earlier, and so my task is also complete. I can just we can just take a screenshot of this, or if we can create an execution list and we can put the results over there, and we can update the status for both the tasks. So task 1 and 2 are completed successfully. Refer attachments. So we can attach, and I can mark this as completed, and I can save the changes. So similarly, now I can start working on this. So I will just mark this as in progress. I will, for time being, what I will do, I will just do check in all, and we will see like how we can do a runtime, verify the runtime status of the different tasks. So perform the task 1. Okay, let me check in all changes. We close this, and now what I will do, I will just go to the admin user. Okay, and from here, now let's do an update all. So obviously, okay, so you can see the progress is increased, and we can see like now the task 2 is complete, the next task is in progress. So similarly, we can perform the next steps, or perform next users can do the remaining steps, and we can, as a lead or as a project manager, we can directly track all the different tasks at this level. So in this case, we have just seen the example of change in the requirement, but we can manage the whole project over here because we have all that capabilities. We can even attach that respective Tosca artifact. So it's easy for an user, just click on that and he's redirected to the specific task or specific folder where he want to perform the different activities. So this was more on the test planning section. So we have seen like how to create a configure the test planning folder, component folder, then how to create a session, how to add the users, so different ways of adding users, so like from ribbon or from context menu, and how to add the different tasks for them. And we have also seen like how we can check the progress at the right time. So once users start updating the status, so we can see the status is being updated real time. So this was more on the test planning section, and now we will move to the next part. Let's open the agendas. We have seen the test planning section. Now before moving to the accessing device labs, that is for the mobile testing, we will first see the point 3 and 4 and 5. That is, we will first see the 2 points related to exploratory session, and then we will move to the BI component folder. Now first we will see how to restrict the recording and create an issue proposal in exploratory session. Let's move to Tosca. I have already created a session within exploratory. Let me move over there. So this is my session, and in this session we will see how to restrict the recording during exploratory session and how to create a issue proposal. First, we will need to check out the folder. I will check out all the folders at the project level. Let's move to the execution, and from here we will start a new session. Now, so from Tosca 11.0, when you start new session, I will just rename this session 11. Select the interactions option. Now we will get this pop-up. So in this pop-up, we can mention in which applications we want to. We can select which applications we want to record. There is other option as other application. So what it does is like if we check this, then any other applications which are not currently listed over here, but during the session we might open those application. If you want to record those application, if we select this application option, we will be able to record them as well. Now in this case, I have unchecked the Google Chrome tab, and we will try to access the Google Chrome, and we will see whether it's being recorded or being getting recorded or not. So let's start it. I will just start the session. First, I will open the Google Chrome. Now, if you see, the recording option is disabled once I access the Google Chrome. Let me click on some few of the links. Pages is getting loaded, but it will not be recorded. Now, what we will do, I will open the I session where we want to record. Now the recording option is enabled. Let us, we will try to again do this. So we have seen the how to restrict certain applications while recording, and now we will move to the next part of creating an issue proposal. When we are working on exploratory session, while working we usually get the user might face any error, and in earlier versions we would have an option of marking the test steps as pass or fail. With this new Tosca release from Tosca 11.0, a user can also create an issue proposal. This issue proposal will have the basic details like the severity of the priority of the issue, whether it's a defect or a change in feature request. User can select that as well, and he can add a brief description. Once user ends his session, uh, a session owner can create an issue out of that issue proposal. Once the issue is created from issue proposal, it's seen within issue section. So let's start with this. What I will do, I have opened this web page, and maybe we will start filling the values. I will start filling. I've selected the BMW. Okay, I'm getting some error. So we have seen the error at the first step. Now let's make this as case study. So when user is selecting any make, he is getting an error. So what a user will do, he will stop the session. Let's move to the media list first. We have seen that the actions like action of clicking on the home link is not recorded. It has just recorded since from this page we have selected the vehicle insurance option. So now this is the step where we have failed. So let's move to the list. Say let's pass first these three steps. Mark it as failed. Error on selecting BMW. Selecting make. And now if you see, there is a new option, raise issue, within a session manager. Once user click this option, so I will just click this. From here user can select either the type or a free feature request. There are two options. We will go with the defect. User can select the priority such as high, medium or low. He can name a defect. I will name it vehicle insurance make, error on clicking make option. I have just given some basic details just for a demo purpose, and I will click on raise. Now I will save and close this session. Let us open Tosca. The session is here. What's new? And if we go to the issue proposal section, we can see the issue proposal which was created by the The exploratory user has been um, is available over here. From here, user can directly, if we select this issue, and we can directly create an issue from proposal. Apart from this, if I select the user, I can directly create an issue proposal within Tosca command. For that, I will just select the user and I will click on create object from issue proposal section. So it will create an issue proposal for me. I will just delete this for time being since we don't need it. And we will now create an issue from this issue proposal. I will select this issue and I will click on issue proposal. Even if we right click and click on create issue proposal, this is another option available to create an issue proposal. Once we click on this, so we get a pop-up saying that do you want to generate and link an execution list for the related scenario. So what it will does is, like, if we click on yes, so it will create an execution list and link this issue with that execution list. It will create a manual test case, obviously, since it's not an automated test case, and it will also create a manual test case. Let us select this option as yes. Let's see. It has generated a new component folder as per our scenario name, and in that component folder we can see there are three folders: execution, issues, and test cases. Under issues, under the session name, we can see the issue is available. So issue is created within Tosca, and if we go to test case section, a manual test case is created for whatever steps user was following. And if we go to the execution list section, we have an execution list as what's new 11, and there is an issue link to this execution list. This way can an, a user can create an issue proposal while he's performing any recording or performing exploratory session, and then once it comes to Tosca, a session owner can create an issue from it. This was about the issue proposal, the exploratory session for issue proposal, and we have also seen how we can restrict certain applications from being recorded. So just before starting the session, we can now select which type of which applications we want to record. Uh, that's it more from for the exploratory sessions. Now we will just move to the BI component folder, and then we will see how to access the uh, mobile labs. Now I will move to project root folder. So from Tosca 11.0, we have a new component folder as a BI. Whatever the basic BI options, this Tosca BI option is available only under the Tosca BI component folder. You will not able to see these options under any other component folder as in other folders. So if I just right click on this component folder, I will not able to see the BI option. Once this and we also have some standard modules and subset available, we can import them as. So I will just first import them. I will click on import subset, and under Tosca projects, Tosca commander, we have this standard subset available, this Tosca BI modules and sample. So these have all the sample modules, the sample TCD sheet, the sample test cases. Let me import this. I will click open. The component folder is imported, and we can see first we can see the modules folder. So the standard BI modules are available, which we can use for performing the BI testing. Then the standard BI templates. If I just go to, so these standard templates for the respective tests are available. Test sheets are also available with respect to the templates. So once this component folder is configured, just import this subset and we can start doing the BI testing. We also just had a BI webinar in the month of January, a MOOC session. You can always visit our Tricentis website or YouTube and see these recorded see the recorded webinar for BI to explore more for the BI. In this session, we are just covering the basic configuration, like how we can, what were the basic changes in Tosca 11.0 and how to configure this BI component folder. That's it on the BI component folder. Yeah, just one thing to mention, we can create additional BI component folder. So if I just right click over here and if I click on this component folder, it will create a new BI component folder, and under this we can add the respective like module, test cases, test case design folder. If you create any component folder under this, it will not create a BI component folder. So if you have to create a BI component folder, you need to create under this folder only. That's it from the BI thing and for the exploratory. And now we will see how to access the device labs. So we will see the basic configuration for the to execute a test case on a test object. Go to Tosca and I will open a new project, a different project. Let me just save these changes and I will open the mobile thing. I have done a basic setup to execute a test case on a test object. First, I will walk you through what are the different test configuration parameters required to execute a test case on a test object. So we have two test cases. One is for the native app and another is a mobile website. Let us uh, click on the test configuration parameter. These are the basic test configuration parameters which are required to perform if you have to execute a test case. In support portal, maybe I will just quickly show you. We have also given the different test configuration parameters required as per the different cloud services. I will open this, and the things which we have seen, test planning, the exploratory, those things are also updated in our support manual, so you can also visit the support manual uh, to know more about that. Under this, if you see, these are the different test configuration parameters mentioned as per the whether it's an iOS device, iOS simulator, mobile lab, source lab, test objects. Similarly, it's for the native app, and this is the basic description about the test configuration parameter. So this will help you while doing the setup. Now let's uh, uh, go to test object. I have logged into test object, and these are the two apps I have already set up. So one is for the website and another is for the insurance calculator. If you have to set up a new app, then you just need to click on this new app. If it is a native app, then you need to select this. If it's a mobile website, then you need to select this. Then give the mobile website URL. I will just use the same one. This is our demo website URL. website name, demo, what's new, and version 1.0, and just save it. Now from here settings, just access the APM and select the setup instructions. Over here you will able to get the API key, test object API key, which is required. Test object API key. The devices, like if you are using the devices in Europe, so this is the basically APM server. This is the URL for that, and it will also give you the device name as well. This is the device name which we will use, and this is the basic configuration which is uh, required to perform a test on a test object. I will just quickly go to the main page, and once this is done, you just need to provide the basic configuration and you can directly execute a test from here. Once you have set up this app, it will appear on your home page. I will quickly show you. We have already executed one test case for this. We need to select the APM one, and these were the tests which we have already executed. So it will basically, we can see a video of that once the test case is executed successfully. That's it on the mobile front. These are the basic. So we have just seen what are the basic configuration required to perform a test on a test object. I think we are now, um, we also need to take couple of questions. So this was more around the different features which were released in Tosca 11.0 and how to configure or how to use these features. I will quickly show you one on the changes on the analytics side. So for analytics now we can exclude certain folders. So if you just move to the properties, this is the new property added, includes in analytics. So it's added at all folder level. This way we can exclude certain folders or certain data from going into analytics. That's it from my side. Hope this session was quite helpful for you. And now we will move to the Q&A session.
Thank you, Sagar, for giving us an overview of what's new in Tricentis Tosca 11.0. Now let's proceed to the next section. The next section is the Q&A section, and we have some really great questions coming in. The first question is from Rahul Sridharan. He's asking, do we need separate licenses for test planning?
Yeah, good question. Planning section do not require any license. So this option is available from Tosca 11.0 version.
Thank you, Sagar. The next question is from Raj. He's asking, can we have only one test planning section?
Um, no, we can have multiple test planning section within Tosca. So similar to other, we can configure multiple sections. So let me show you within Tosca. So if we go to component folder, if we right click on component folder, similar to other folders like test case modules, we can add the test planning folder at the component folder level.
Thank you, Sagar. One last question from Somesh. He's asking, does Tricentis Tosca offer any cloud device hosting solution?
Tosca does not offer its own device cloud hosting solution. We integrate with most common holding solutions, such as, but we do not have our own.
Thank you, Sagar. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Before we end the session, I would like to make an announcement. We are organizing Tricentis Tosca user conference on 27th June and 29th June at Bangalore and Pune, respectively. More details will be available soon. Do keep visiting our website to know more. Thank you very much for participating. Please feel free to continue the conversation online by following us on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can also reach us through our website at www.tricentis.com. Thank you once again for joining the webinar, and please be sure to fill out the survey question once the webinar ends. A recording of this session, as well as the previous sections, webinars will be available on our website. Thanks again, and have a great rest of the week.